The Feast of Epiphany, or Revelation of Christ to the Gentiles, is observed on January 6th. But in the Diocese of the United States, we celebrate the Sunday after the feast day, today. Epiphany comes from the Greek word meaning showing faith, appearance, manifestation, revelation. The feast day proclaims the good news that Jesus revealed God to all the nations, to all humanity. At Christmas, the church celebrates the birth of Jesus, when God entered fully into the human experience. The Feast of Epiphany takes the Christmas proclamation one step further, when the divine revelation in Jesus was revealed to the whole world as the Magi came from the east. The eve of the Feast of Epiphany, which was this past Thursday, the 12th night, marks the end of the Christmas celebration, the end of the 12 days of Christmas. And so you may ask, what is the origin of the 12 days of Christmas? For we are all very familiar with the song. The origin is actually pretty interesting, so I thought it would be fun to explain the meaning behind each of the 12 days of Christmas, and then split up into 12 groups and sing the song. But then I remembered that song is so darn long and repetitive. 5 golden rings. The origin of the 12 days of Christmas goes back to Catholics in England during the period 1558 to 1829, when Parliament in England prohibited Catholics from practicing their faith in public or private. The 12 Days of Christmas was written as a catechism song to help young children and Catholics to learn the tenets of their faith, a memory aid. The song's gifts are hidden meanings to the teachings of our faith. The true love mentioned in the song, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me, the true love doesn't refer to an earthly suitor. It refers to God himself. The me who receives the presents refers to every baptized person. And each of the 12 gifts represents the teaching of our faith. For example, the partridge in a pear tree, it represents Christ himself because the partridge bird is willing to sacrifice its life, if necessary, to protect its young. The 4 calling birds were the 4 Gospels. The 10 Lords a-leaping were the 10 Commandments, and so on, and very interesting if you care to look it up. And one more fact about our Christmas season. On the traditional liturgical calendar, the Christmas season, also known as Christmastide, includes both Christmas and Epiphany, and it lasts for 40 days. These 40 days begin at the vigil of Christmas Eve and ends on February 2nd, known as Candlemas, which is the day we celebrate Jesus' presentation in the temple. And so, today's feast is a great epiphany or revelation, the light of Christ. Matthew tells us, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising and have come to do him homage." In 2011, in his homily, then Pope Benedict highlighted the journey of the wise men, or the Magi, who were in search of something more, for the true light that would be able to indicate the path to follow in their lives. In the end, the star brought the Magi to a small town of Bethlehem and led them among the poor, the humble, in order to find the King of the world said the Pope. Pope Benedict went on to say that everyone is called to be like the Star of Bethlehem and lead others to Jesus with his or her own light. How do we become that Star of Bethlehem? How do we find that light of Christ inside of us? How do we get that, aha, I've got it moment in our lives, like the three kings experienced when they saw the star and the baby Jesus? This past Monday at Men's Prayer Group, there was a wonderful story about finding Jesus that I would like to share with you. A puzzle page in a newspaper showed a drawing of an outdoor scene. Beneath it was this question: can you find the girl in the drawing? A close examination of the drawing showed the girl's eyes and eyebrows concealed in a tree branch. Another branch hid her mouth and nose. A cloud revealed her flowing hair. After you discovered the girl, the drawing was never the same again. You would see her over and over. It is like this with Jesus. He is in our lives, waiting to be found. Once we find him, our lives will never be the same again. Isaiah in our first reading says, "Then you shall be radiant at what you see. Your heart shall throb and overflow." This past Tuesday, I stopped into church one morning. Only the lights on the trees in back of the altar were lit. There were no other lights on. So I came up front and I sat in the pew. And there in front of me was the manger. And for a moment, I had found Jesus. I had found that Star of Bethlehem. This week, my prayer for all of you is that you will each find that Star of Bethlehem, that light of Christ inside of you. And I'd like to close my homily with the following quote: "One day he will come. Once in the stillness, you will know, not from a book or from the word of someone else, but through God." Have a blessed day.